All right, we're back with another product from Phlster. Today I bring you the Phlster Holster Wedge Kit. If you're new here, I'm Mike and welcome to 360 Tactical Solutions. This video isn't sponsored or paid for by Phlster. And aside from them commenting on a couple of my video reviews that I've done on their products, I don't have any kind of relevant relationship with the company. I ordered this kit at full retail price, and I did so because I want to go ahead and test it out and let you guys know what I think. All these years I spent concealed carrying, I never even thought about using some sort of holster wedge system, not even when it started getting popular here in the last couple of years. Now, between gaining weight from quitting smoking and the excess weight that I may have packed on from COVID lockdowns, I'm at a point in my life where I really just have to admit maybe it's time that I start investigating and looking into holster wedges. There's a funny thing that happens when you gain a little bit of weight, and that is that suddenly that extra weight pushes out on the top side of your gun above the belt line, which then digs the lower portion, the barrel end, into your body. It's a pretty uncomfortable situation to be stuck in. You also get similar type of issues when it comes to shorter guns, things in that 3-inch type of range. There's not much mass below the belt line, so because of that, the gun naturally wants to tilt forward and dig into you the same way that it would if you were packing on some extra weight like some of us are. This is where the holster wedge comes in. A holster wedge gives you a barrier between your skin and the hard kydex surface of your holster. Not only that, at the same time, that holster wedge is going to help level out your holster by pushing the barrel end of your weapon away from your body. That, of course, is going to help with concealment as well as comfort. The thing is, though, there is no perfect wedge shape or size or whatever. The wedge that you need, it's going to depend on your personal needs. Your holster, your gun, your particular body type. Hell, some of it is going to depend on what position you actually carry your holster at. This kit from Phlster, it comes with a lot of different pieces. So let's just start there and work our way through this thing. Inside of the packaging, you are going to find 2 of these sheets of the loop side of hook and loop, or Velcro, if you will. These have an adhesive backing on the back, and so the idea is to go ahead and peel this plastic from the back side and then stick it down to your holster. Pro tip, before you go ahead and attempt to adhere that to your holster, take some rubbing alcohol or something and clean the surface really well where you plan on attaching it. You want to get all of the dirt and oil and sweat and whatever other kind of stuff that may be on there off before you attempt to put that Velcro onto the kydex surface. Rubbing alcohol works great. Clean it off real well and give it plenty of time to dry out before you go ahead and install the Velcro. If you skip this step, it's probably not going to adhere very well, and the first time that you pull your wedge material off of there to try to make an adjustment, you run the risk of having that Velcro just peel right off. Now, once you have that piece of Velcro adhered to your holster properly, we can move on to the next step. The actual wedge pieces come in this spider web thing here, and you're going to want to go through and just cut out the ones that you need, taking care not to cut too close to the actual wedge so that you don't split the seam and then they just come right open. They're built essentially like a pouch. You have 2 sides of material that are glued together with a spongy material on the inside. So when you cut them, leave a little bit of room around the outside. It's pretty soft material, so it's not like it's gonna, rub or scratch you the wrong way. Also, inside of the kit are a bunch of hook side of the hook and loop and or Velcro, and they're going to correspond to the different shapes that are in the kit. So here we have I don't know what that is, like kidney bean size and shape, and there is hook side that is the same size. So you want to go ahead and just attach that to the piece. Now that you have the Velcro attached to your wedge piece, you can go ahead and slap this sucker on your holster and you're ready to rock. Simple, right? Not so fast, Eager McBeaver. This is where things tend to get just a little bit on the complicated side. Like I said, there are a handful of different sizes and shapes of these wedge pieces, because there is no one size fits all for anything out there. That is not how this works. Which wedge piece or pieces that you use are going to depend on you, your holster, the way that it fits you, the direction and or amount that it needs to move or be adjusted. So here I have the G-Code Phenom holster for the Hellcat Pro. The wedge piece that I have attached to it is the large teardrop shape. This is the biggest one that's in the kit. Let's go ahead and switch cameras. We'll do an overhead view, take a closer look at some of the pieces and how they work, how you can actually adjust the fit of the holster based on location of where you put these wedges. So when you order this kit, this is basically what this is going to look like. Of course, I've cut several of these out already. When you cut these out, you don't want to cut them too close. Just give it a little cut here, a little cut here. You can trim off the edges, but leave a little bit of excess around the outside here. Next, you do get a couple of these guys. It comes with 2 of these, so I mean, really, you could cut this in half if you wanted. You can get a bunch of holsters worth out of this. Now, you also get the hook side of the hook and loop. That hook side is going to correspond to the piece that you have cut out. You can attach it, and then you can go ahead and attach that to your holster. One of the problems that I was having with this holster is that it wants to push away from the body up at the top, which digs in down at the bottom. Now, in order to correct that, I need to add material here to kind of level that out. Of course, these Phlster wedges are the same thickness all the way across, so the only way to really do that, and to do that in a wedge type formation, is to add multiple pieces in different areas, kind of like so. Now, of course, at this point, when you put the holster in your pants or take it out, this piece is going to want to catch and snag as you're walking around during the day. This moves all around. It's really not the best design as far as that goes. Alternately, you can go ahead and do it this way, where you add it underneath. Okay, but that doesn't work out either. It's really not the most comfortable. What I've ended up doing that's worked fairly well for me as far as this goes is to take this large teardrop shaped wedge, put it over on the side, slightly at an angle. That way it takes up this space here where the holster dips down. And what it's doing here is it is pushing, let's see, holster sits like this. It is pushing the holster out at the bottom, but it's also helping to rotate the grip back to where I need it to be. This memory foam type material that these are made out of is very comfortable against the skin. It has quite a bit of padding. Let me tell you, this is a lot more comfortable than solid plastic up against your skin all day long. So you really can do a lot with this kit. Not only is there enough stuff in the holster kit to be able to outfit at least 2 holsters, but you can also really fine-tune the way that your holster interacts with your body. This, however, is where we get down to the meat and potatoes of things. This kit, it runs like $40. Now, is that $40 going to be well spent, or are you going to be better off, I don't know, spending $6 on something like this yoga block here? Over here, I've got my McKinney Talon holster. This one is for the Floyd's Custom M&P, one of my favorites. And this holster, I have a holster wedge that was made out of that piece of yoga block. I spent $6 to order a yoga block from Amazon. I think I spent another, I don't know, $4, maybe $5 to order a Velcro kit. When the yoga block came in, I hit the old bandsaw and I went to work. What I ended up with is a wedge that works much better for this particular holster and my body type than what the Phlster kit was able to. Here I've got the McKinney Talon holster. This is one of my favorites. I can't tell you how many miles I've put on this one, but because of the way the holster is designed, there's quite a bit of area here where it's a low spot, and then this right here is a really high spot. And this is the same thing. The upper end wants to be pushed out and the lower end wants to dig into my body. So what I've done here with one of these yoga block foam wedges is I basically made a little something like this, little triangular shape, except I've also cut a groove out of there. So the thicker part sits here, the thinner part sits here. And that has actually fixed all my issues when it comes to how this holster rides up against my body. One of the things I've really been struggling with is that this wedge kit isn't really a wedge kit at all. It's really more of a pad. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just doesn't fill the gap really well. What I need to get my holster where I need it is an actual wedge, a triangular shaped piece of material that is going to go ahead and push that holster out away from my body down here on the barrel end and fill that leftover gap. These Phlster wedge pieces, although they are very nice and good quality, they're one thickness all the way through from one side to the other, and they're all essentially the same thickness. Some of these smaller ones are a little bit more thin than, say, like these medium round ones, but essentially from one side to the other of the piece, it's the same thickness all the way across. The Phlster's wedge, it acts as more of a pad than anything. It's almost like a memory foam type material, which is great, don't get me wrong. It is super comfortable if what you need is just a barrier between you and your holster. It's just not really a wedge. As a pad or as a cushion, this kit is perfect and it is extremely comfortable. If you need a wedge-like shape to fill the gap, so to speak, this kit may not be for you. In order to fill that open space like a true wedge does, what you end up having to do is strategically place these pieces to give it an actual wedge type shape. The unfortunate thing is that it's not really a wedge-like shape and the pieces aren't very secure. They do want to move all over the place. And then of course, as you put the holster into or take it out of your pants, you know, they want to shift, they want to pull away, they want to move around. And I found that it's actually not very comfortable to stack the pieces on top of each other to create a wedge effect. All right, so let's get down to the conclusion. Let's get down to the honest evaluation of the Phlster holster wedge kit. I think that if you need a slight adjustment in how or where your holster rides in conjunction with your body, I think there's a definite benefit to this kit. If you need a more dramatic adjustment or customized fit, you may just need a different solution, something perhaps like one of these yoga block wedges. I do think before making a decision or spending any money, you should go take a look at some of the resources that are available on Phlster's website. They have an entire page dedicated to the mechanics of concealment. The information that they provide over there, it can help you no matter what your concealment issues are, no matter what gun you carry, no matter what your body type is. There's a lot of good information over there. They put a lot of time and effort into putting together a really comprehensive breakdown so that people have all that information in one place and available to them. I'll of course leave a link below if you want to go take a look at any of that information. For me, my particular body type, for most of the holsters and guns that I carry, the Phlster wedge system, it's not necessarily for me. It has added quite a bit of comfort when it comes to using this G-Code Phenom holster with the Hellcat Pro. But for other guns, things like the Floyd's Custom M&P, I need a different solution. I'm finding that for this particular gun, for this particular holster, the best option for me is a custom-made foam type wedge. The thing about that is, that's me. I know my way around a bandsaw and all the other various tools that it takes to, take a block like this and cut it down into a wedge like this. I also like doing crafty shit like that, so, that works for me. That's something you're gonna have to think about for yourself, your situation, your personal needs. As with pretty much every review out there, I don't believe that there is a cut and dry recommendation for anything, unless something is, completely trash. I think everything depends on you more than it does me or whoever's doing the video. The purpose of these videos is to give you perspective and ideas and thoughts that perhaps you hadn't thought about yourself while looking at the listing on a website. Now, hopefully I've given you a little something to think about that will help you kind of figure out a direction as far as whether or not a system like the Phlster Wedge Kit is going to work for you, or whether you want to go ahead and try to make your own wedge. There's definitely a benefit to being able to just order a kit online and have it show up in the mail and basically just slap it together and use it. Not everybody has the experience with the tools, has the tools, or the know-how to be able to create their own wedges. Overall, I really do think that Phlster makes some pretty incredible products. Obviously, I have a handful of them here in the office and I do use them regularly. Phlster's quality, top-notch. Their customer service is great, and they are constantly striving to make advancements in the two-way world for all of us. In that aspect, I don't think that there is a single product on the Phlster site that isn't worth at least giving a try. That's going to be it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you back here real soon.